Very important medical disclaimer. Information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health care provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment before undertaking a new health regimen. Welcome to the Holistic Health Explained podcast. I'm your host, Shantae Fox, and my guest for today's episode is Amy Madrid, owner of Energy Seed Yoga. Amy is a yoga guide, meditation teacher, and a sound practitioner who is known for her unique teaching approach that emphasizes human connection and free hugs. She owns Energy Seed Yoga in Tempe, Arizona, providing a safe space where people can heal, grow, learn, and support each other through yoga. Her classes are lighthearted but heartfelt. She often shares personal experiences to help others feel less alone. As an intuitive, Amy uses her gift of intuition to sense the emotions and needs of those in her classes. You can find her running, baking cookies, reading, advocating for women's rights and mental health awareness when she is not teaching. Amy has dedicated herself to continuous education because yoga is an ongoing process to be lived. As of now, the education she considers to be her foundation includes 500-hour certified yoga teacher, 10-hour certified prenatal yoga teacher, 100-hour pranayama and meditation teacher, 50-hour pranayama teacher training, 60-hour certified yin yoga teacher, 25-hour certified yin yoga and Chinese medicine, level 1 and 2 certified sound healing practitioner. Whew, that's impressive. No wonder you're so good at what you do, Amy.
Thank you, Shantae.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming to the show today and taking the time to chat with me to help our audience understand a bit more about the practice of yoga. But before we get into that, I'd love for you to share a fun fact or something that not many may know about you.
This was a tough one. I had to really dig deep. So what you may not know about me, my nickname that my dad gave me is Roo, like R-O-O. So he called me Amy Roo. And just for something funny, that's my Spotify handle, is Amy Roo.
Is it?
Yes.
Very nice. Thanks, Dad.
Yes.
That's a cute nickname, though. Okay, so Amy, you are currently a healing partner here at Sozer Healing House, and that's how we first met. You teach yoga classes and facilitate sound baths for groups and in a private one-on-one setting, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so first, we're gonna, our main topic for today is gonna stick to the practice of yoga because that's what you really specialize in, and I would really like to get to the bottom of kind of what yoga is and how it can help and benefit people. So can you first explain to us what the practice of yoga is?
Well, to me, yoga really is everything. I'm really conscious of not promoting that it's just a workout and physical based because that's just a fraction of what yoga actually is. And the more I learn about yoga, the more I realize I don't know about yoga. So it's just, it's such a broad spectrum for people to learn about. But when you start diving into it, you learn about yourself, you learn how to become a better person and to be a better person to those around you. And to me, that's yoga, and that's what we need in the world these days.
Awesome. Okay, good. So you had said, a lot of people look at it as like a form of exercise, but that's not necessarily all that it is, right? Can you tell us what the main benefits of practicing yoga are?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're just looking at the physical, of course, you can gain flexibility, maybe even strength. But when you practice more of the philosophy, you'll start having compassion towards yourself. And that's, I guess I say that because that's where I started, is having compassion towards myself. And then when you dig a little bit deeper, then you start to realize I can have compassion for people that hurt me or hurt others. And really, it's just about how we can connect with other people and still raise each other up, because it's not a competition. Life is hard as it is, and yoga is there to help you. So it's going to help you relax. It's going to give you a sense of peace and state of mind. If you participate in like the breath work, that's incredible for your lung capacity. It also helps produce nitric oxide in your body, which is just overall general healing for your body, because our bodies are really smart. Of course, and then there's meditation, which I think everybody knows that's really good for us to help kind of smooth out all the wrinkles in our lives.
Yes, we don't need that. Well, I know that you're also, you have training as a sound healer as well, and you do incorporate the use of sound bowls, and I've seen you use tuning forks before too. So
Yes.
Can you maybe tell us what the benefit of that can be as well?
Absolutely. So part of yoga is meditation, and when you add sound to that, as in the sound bath, that's just a different form of meditation. So when I tell my students when they come in for a sound bath, I tell them their only job is to listen. Meditation isn't about completely ignoring your thoughts. It's about a pinpointed focus. So when you can come in and either lay down or sit down and just listen and focus on sounds, it can take you to another place. And then that's where you can kind of drop into that really peaceful flow Zen state and really get the benefits of sound and the meditation. Not only the meditation helps you, but the actual frequencies and the vibrations coming from the instruments, when they have different frequencies, they affect different organs and processes that go on in your body. So it's just a, overall, again, healing practice.
Right, yeah. And speaking of that, that kind of will lead me into my next question about how you even got started into yoga, if you don't mind sharing. I know it's maybe a little bit of a personal story, but if you don't mind giving us a little bit of information on how you got into this, and maybe it'll speak to somebody going through the same thing.
Yes. Honestly, yoga is probably the last thing you would ever think that I would get into. But I practiced it because I like the physical part, and a lot of us get into yoga because of the physical. I was a former gymnast. I'm just naturally bending, so it came natural to me. So I thought I was good at yoga. Oh man, how wrong I was. So, fast forward a long time, or fast forward to now, I dove down into yoga teacher training. And right before that, not only did I come into contact with some really special people in my life that helped me go down this path, I started to get sick, and then I lost my brother to suicide. And when I say yoga saved my life, I really mean that. If I didn't have yoga to lean on, and that's not the poses, I don't know if I'd be here, to be honest with you. I really had to practice compassion towards myself, and now I live in the light of my brother. And I really try and let people know that grief and death has another side besides sadness. It has sunshine and it has light. So for me, diving into yoga was really, I'm going to just say it was my brother's fault. I think he takes care of me even when he's not here, and he'd be really proud of me right now.
So thank you for sharing that. I know that's probably a difficult story to tell. So one other thing that comes to my mind when I think about yoga, and I think about people that I've come across. I can't call myself a yogi. I don't practice on a regular basis, but I do love it when I do get the chance to do it. And I've invited some people before to come to classes here at Zozo, and there's been a few times when I've had people that I know who were a bit put off by the word yoga, and felt like they can't practice it because it may be against their religion, and they don't quite understand where it comes from and what it means. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you've probably heard that before. So what do you say to people who have that point of view?
I let them know that it's complementary to their religion. Yoga is not a religion.
Right.
It is a practice. It's a lifestyle. It's philosophy. So I let people know that it's complementary to their own spiritual practice. That doesn't mean they have to learn Sanskrit and do all the poses. They can apply whatever religion they have to yoga. Like the example I gave before is like showing compassion. I'm pretty sure any religion has something about being compassionate and kind and not violent to people. So it's really complementary.
Okay. So you hear that, people. Yoga is not a religion. It's not based in religion, right?
It's a philosophy. It's a lifestyle.
Gotcha. Okay. So you just kind of mentioned that too. There's so many different types of yoga out there, right? Do you have any advice to people, or especially those who are just beginning and trying to dabble in yoga, maybe how to find the right practice that would be a good fit for themselves, like with all of the different options that are out there?
Absolutely. Yoga is for everybody. But the caveat to that is not every yoga teacher is for everybody.
Okay, yes.
And I'm not saying that like in a negative way. It's
Yeah.
just some people resonate with certain people and some people don't resonate with certain people. So my biggest piece of advice would be to try as many teachers as it takes to find the one that clicks with you. Then on top of that, there's, like you said, lots of styles of yoga out there. Call the studio, call the gym, ask them what it's like. Is it for beginners? Get a vibe and see how it goes from there. I'm a little biased because I love yin yoga. It's the really slow, easy, non-sweaty kind, so I will say you could start with that, but I'm a little biased.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I like the yin yoga too. It is, especially if you are a beginner, I think it's a good place to start.
It is.
For sure. Yes. Is there any other little tips or things that you can think of for our listeners that could be helpful when it comes to understanding yoga or practicing, even if they're doing it on their own? I know a lot of people tend to do a little bit of yoga practice, just straight from home as well.
Yeah. My biggest tip would be don't get caught up in alignment rules or if you're doing the shape correctly. I think there's just a lot of information out there that says you have to be placing your foot in a certain way and having your feet, a certain distance apart. And that's really not what it's about. It's about how you feel in that shape and how you can adapt. So when you're getting out there and you're trying out all the yogas, just remember it's your body and your practice. If it doesn't feel good, ask the teacher for another variation or do whatever you want.
Gotcha. Thank you for that advice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Amy, thank you so much for coming on the show today and helping us learn a little bit more about a different holistic healing modality. Can you tell our listeners how they can find you for more information or details on everything that you offer?
Absolutely. You can find me on my website, which is energyseedyoga.com. My schedule is always up to date there. If you're into social media, I'm pretty active on Instagram, and that's also Energy Seed Yoga, and I'm also on Facebook.
Thank you for that, and I'll include that in the notes for the episode, so if anybody's looking for it, we'll have the spelling and everything listed out for you guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode of Holistic Health Explained. I'm your host, Shantae Fox. Be well, my friends.